Hey everyone and welcome back. Today we're diving into something that I think a lot of business owners can relate to Lisa Shepard's book, Market Smart. It's all about cracking the code of B2B marketing and getting better results no matter what industry you're in.
And Lisa would know, right? I mean, she's worked with everyone from those tiny startups, the ones working out of their garage, all the way up to those massive companies you see on the Fortune 500 list.
Exactly. She's definitely got the inside scoop, which is what makes this deep dive so valuable. So whether B2B marketing is like a foreign language to you, you need a little refresher course, or you just want to make sure you're at the top of your game, Lisa's got us covered. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's start with the basics. What exactly are we talking about when we throw around this term B2B marketing? It's not as simple as it sounds, is it?
No, it's definitely more than just like putting up a billboard or a flashy ad on social media. It's about building something much deeper, something that makes businesses want to work with you.
Okay, I like that. Building relationships, that's all about trust in the business world, right?
Right. You hit the nail on the head. It's about building that unshakable trust and proving that you can deliver real, tangible value. B2B customers, they need to be certain that what you're offering is not just good, but undeniably better than anything else out there.
So in a way, it's even more important to get it right in B2B than it is when you're marketing to individual consumers, right?
Exactly. The stakes are just way higher in B2B. Think about it. If you buy something for yourself and it breaks or it doesn't live up to the hype, it's annoying, sure, but life goes on. In the business world, a bad decision can be catastrophic.
Oh, absolutely. One bad decision can have ripple effects.
Right. And I'm not talking about just a minor inconvenience. I mean, derailing entire teams, blowing budgets, even putting people's jobs at risk.
Okay, yeah, that's a whole other level of pressure.
Yeah.
Suddenly, that example Lisa gives in the book about the company with those glitchy laptops
Yeah.
doesn't seem so minor. You know, the ones that kept crashing and causing all sorts of chaos.
Yeah. It's a perfect example. Imagine an entire office grinding to a halt because the tech just isn't cutting it. Now, magnify that problem to something like mission-critical software or a key supplier going bankrupt. You can see why choosing the right partners is so crucial in the B2B world.
Absolutely. So how does Lisa suggest we approach B2B marketing to avoid those potential disasters and make sure we're making smart decisions?
She's got this incredibly practical framework. She calls it the 3 C's: company, customers, and competition. It's about cutting through the noise and focusing on the things that truly matter, especially if you don't have months to waste on, you know, those endless strategy meetings.
I love that. Time is money,
Yeah.
right? Especially for smaller businesses or those who are just starting out and don't have huge marketing teams.
Precisely. It's all about efficiency, getting the most bang for your buck.
I think every business owner can get behind that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's break down these 3 C's. What's the first one? Company. What does that entail?
It's all about taking a step back, looking at your business with fresh eyes and honestly evaluating your goals, strengths, and yes, even your weaknesses. It's about being brutally honest with yourself about what you bring to the table.
So it's like that classic SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, but maybe with a more focused lens.
Exactly. Even those seasoned business owners, the ones who think they've got it all figured out, can benefit from this kind of structured assessment. You'd be surprised how many opportunities or even potential threats are lurking right under the surface.
I can see how easy it would be to miss those blind spots, especially when you're caught up in the day-to-day of running a business. So we've taken a good hard look in the mirror. Now, let's talk about the second 80, customers. And I have a feeling this is where things start to get really interesting.
You're not wrong. Lisa is a huge proponent of, get this, actually talking to your customers, like really talking to them.
You mean like picking up the phone and having a conversation? Not just sending out those impersonal surveys that everyone ignores?
Exactly. While surveys have their place, nothing beats a real live conversation to uncover those golden nuggets of insight.
Because when you're actually talking to someone, you can pick up on so much more than just a checkbox answer, right? You can hear the emotion in their voice, the things they're hesitant to say in writing.
Exactly. You start to understand their pain points, their aspirations, what keeps them up at night, and that's where the real marketing magic happens.
It's about getting into their heads and figuring out how you can solve their problems. Speaking of getting into their heads, what's an example Lisa shares about the power of these customer interviews?
She talks about the software company. They were absolutely convinced that their product was a perfect fit for marketing VPs. So they're pouring all this money and effort into targeting them, but the sales just weren't there. It was like banging their heads against a wall.
Ouch, I feel their pain. So what went wrong?
Well, they decided to try Lisa's approach and actually talk to their customers. And guess what they discovered?
What? Don't leave me hanging.
Turns out it was actually the CFO who held the purse strings for this type of purchase. A civil conversation completely changed their entire strategy and their bottom line.
Wow, what a game changer. Okay, I'm definitely sold on the power of customer interviews now. So we've looked at ourselves, we've talked to our customers. That brings us to our final C, competition. I'm guessing this is about knowing what your rivals are up to, but not just copying them, right?
Exactly. It's about figuring out where you fit in the competitive landscape. And Lisa stresses that this isn't about being a copycat. It's about pinpointing what makes you unique and using it to stand out from the crowd.
So it's about differentiation, not imitation. I like it. You want to be the standout choice, not just another face in the crowd. But how do you gather this competitive intelligence, without resorting to anything unethical or illegal? Seems like it could get a little murky.
Lisa's a big advocate for ethical and legal practices. Think publicly available information, those industry reports, maybe even what people are saying in online reviews. And she mentioned this thing called mystery shopping, which honestly sounds kind of fun.
Mystery shopping. Okay, now that does sound intriguing. But how does that work in the B2B world? I'm picturing someone trying to sneak into a competitor's headquarters disguised as a janitor or something.
Nothing quite that dramatic. But imagine experiencing your competitor's sales process firsthand, pretending to be a potential customer. You get to see how they interact with prospects, what they're doing well, where they're falling short, all while staying completely above board, of course.
That's brilliant. Okay, so we've got our 3 C's covered. We've examined our company. We've gotten the inside scoop from our customers. We've scoped out the competition. But now what? How do we take all this knowledge and turn it into action?
That's where Lisa's marketing evolution framework comes in. She breaks down the whole marketing journey into these clear, manageable stages. It's like climbing a mountain. You wouldn't just start at the summit, right? You'd start at base camp and work your way up.
A marketing evolution, huh? Now that does sound like something we need to unpack.
Exactly. You start with the basics, right? Making sure people even know you exist.
So that's our base camp, education and awareness. What kind of tactics are we talking about at this stage?
Think blog posts, infographics, maybe even some targeted social media. You're providing valuable content, establishing yourself as a thought leader in your space. It's all about building that credibility, not hitting them with a hard sell right out of the gate.
Got it. So you're building that know, like, and trust factor.
Exactly. You want them to see you as that go-to resource, not just another company blasting out sales pitches left and right.
Makes sense. So once we've got that solid foundation, we can start moving up the mountain, right?
Exactly. And as you climb, your tactics start to shift. Now, you're thinking about lead generation, capturing information so you can nurture those potential customers.
Okay, lead generation. That's where things start to get really interesting from a marketing perspective. So we're talking about things like webinars, white papers, free trials, that sort of thing.
You got it. You're offering something valuable in exchange for that contact information, which allows you to, nurture that relationship and guide them further down the sales funnel. But here's where things get interesting. Lisa actually recommends focusing on your existing products and customers first.
Wait, really? That seems counterintuitive. You'd think you'd want to go after those shiny new customers right away.
It's all about maximizing your return on investment. Remember, efficiency is key. And think about it. You've already got a relationship with your existing customers. It's often much easier and more cost-effective to sell them something new than to convince a complete stranger to take a chance on you.
That's a really good point. I can see how that would get overlooked in the excitement of, reaching a brand new market.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got education and awareness, then lead generation with a focus on those existing relationships. What comes next? What's the summit of our marketing evolution?
This is where it gets really exciting. This stage is all about brand building. You're solidifying your position as a leader, a true innovator in your industry.
So we're not just selling a product or service anymore. We're selling an experience, a feeling.
Exactly. Think Apple, Nike, even Tesla. They've gone beyond just selling products. They've created this tribe of loyal followers who wouldn't dream of going anywhere else.
Okay, I'm officially on board with this marketing evolution concept. It just makes the whole process so much clearer. Now, Lisa also talks about something called a 4-quadrant model. Is that connected to this idea of the marketing evolution?
It's totally connected. It's a way to visualize those customer relationships we were just talking about. Imagine 4 boxes, right? You've got existing products, existing customers, new products, existing customers, existing products, new customers, and then new products, new
I
customers.
see where you're going with this. You can map out your entire customer base. It's like having a visual representation of your target market.
Exactly. It helps you prioritize your marketing efforts. Okay, so we've talked about the overall strategy, but what about the actual content? What resonates with B2B audiences? What are they looking for?
That's a great question. Because I'm guessing it's not the same kind of content you'd see on, say, a lifestyle blog, right?
Totally different ballgame. B2B is all about thought leadership and providing real, tangible value. Think white papers and case studies.
Let's break those down a bit. What exactly are white papers and case studies, and why are they so effective in the B2B space?
Sure. So a white paper, it's kind of like a mini research report. It dives deep into a specific topic, something your target audience really cares about. It could be an analysis of a common industry problem, complete with data, insights, maybe even some potential solutions.
Okay, so it's about educating, not just selling.
Exactly. You're positioning yourself as the expert, that trusted advisor. Now, case studies, they're a little different. They tell the story of how you helped a specific customer achieve amazing results.
So it's like, hey, don't just take our word for it. Look what we did for this other company.
Exactly. Let's say you helped a company streamline their operations. Maybe they boosted productivity by 20% using your software. That's a story worth telling. It shows that you can deliver real, measurable results.
It's all about proof, not just promises. I love that. Now, Lisa also shares some great tips for actually writing compelling content, whether it's a white paper, a case study, even just a blog post. What are some of the things that stood out to you?
She really emphasizes the importance of a catchy title. I mean, think about it. You've got to grab their attention. We're all bombarded with content these days.
It's about cutting through the clutter, right?
Exactly. And then it's all about focusing on the benefits, not just the features. Don't just tell them what your product does. Tell them how it will make their lives easier, their businesses more profitable.
It's that classic, what's in it for me?
Exactly. And visuals. People don't want to stare at a wall of text. Images, charts, infographics, anything to make it more engaging.
A picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've created this amazing content. It's visually appealing. It's hitting all the right notes. Now, how do we get it in front of the right people?
That, my friend, is the million-dollar question: content distribution. And Lisa recommends a multi-pronged approach. Think about it. Posting on your website, sharing snippets on social media, maybe even pitching to industry publications.
So it's about being strategic. You want to be where your ideal customers are already hanging out.
Precisely. It's about maximizing your reach.
Speaking of reaching your audience, let's talk about those B2B buzzwords that can make people's heads spin. Social media, SEO. I think a lot of businesses just shut down when they hear those terms. It can feel so overwhelming.
I hear you. But Lisa does a great job of breaking those concepts down into manageable steps. So let's start with LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, the land of awkward networking and overly formal profile pictures.
Hey, it's come a long way. And the truth is, it can be a B2B goldmine if you use it right. Lisa talks about encouraging employees to be brand ambassadors. Optimize their profiles, showcase their expertise, make sure they're reflecting the company culture.
I like that. It's about leveraging the power of your team's network, not just relying on the company page to do all the heavy lifting.
Exactly. And don't forget that social media, it's about engagement, not just broadcasting. Encourage your employees to join industry groups, share valuable insights.
So no spamming people with sales pitches or posting about your cat on the company account, unless, of course, you're in the pet industry. Lisa did mention that CEO who was really into sharing photos of his dog. Probably not the best look for a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah, not exactly on brand. Speaking of things that can make your head spin, let's tackle SEO a bit.
Yes, please. Because I think a lot of people hear SEO and they immediately think of complicated algorithms and tech jargon.
And it can be a bit of a black box, but it doesn't have to be. Lisa's a big proponent of Google Analytics, which is amazing because it's free. And so many businesses either aren't using it at all or they're just scratching the surface of what it can do.
It's like having a treasure chest of data, but you need the right map to find it.
Exactly. It tells you how people are finding your website, what they're doing once they're there, what they're interested in, pure gold for a marketer.
So you can actually see what's working and what's not, then tweak your strategy accordingly.
Exactly. You're optimizing your content to make sure it shows up in those search results, which means you're more likely to attract the right kind of traffic, the people who are actually looking for what you have to offer.
It's all about quality over quantity. Okay, Google Analytics check.
Yeah.
We're tracking our website traffic like pros.
Yeah.
But SEO is an ongoing thing, right? You can't just set it and forget it.
You got it. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
You got to stay ahead of those algorithms. They're always changing. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from crafting a rock-solid strategy to choosing the right tactics, even diving into the sometimes scary world of SEO. But before we wrap up our deep dive, I wanted to circle back to something else Lisa emphasizes: building a strong marketing team.
Ah, yes. Your people. That's often the missing piece, especially for smaller companies or solopreneurs who are wearing all the hats.
It's easy to think, okay, I've got my marketing budget set, I'm good to go. But it takes more than just money, right?
Absolutely. You need the right people to steer the ship.
So whether you're building an in-house team or outsourcing to freelancers, what should business owners be looking for?
Passion, for one. You want people who are genuinely excited about your brand and your mission. And of course, they need the skills to back it up.
It's about finding that perfect blend of enthusiasm and expertise. And I imagine it's also about finding people who really understand your vision.
100%. They need to be aligned with your overall goals and your company culture. You want your marketing team to feel like an extension of your brand, not just a separate entity.
So it's not just about having a marketing department, it's about creating that culture of marketing Lisa talks about.
Exactly, where everyone understands that marketing is everyone's responsibility, from the CEO to the intern.
I love that. Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into Lisa Shepard's Market Smart, what are some final nuggets of wisdom for our listeners? What are the key takeaways you hope they'll carry with them?
I think the biggest one is that B2B marketing, it's not as complicated or intimidating as it seems. At its core, it's really about building genuine human connections.
It's about building relationships, providing value, and becoming that trusted advisor that people want to do business with.
Exactly. And never be afraid to experiment. Try new things, see what sticks. The B2B landscape is always changing, so you got to be willing to adapt and evolve.
Well said. Lisa's book is a fantastic roadmap, but it's just the beginning, right?
Absolutely. There are so many amazing resources out there: blogs, podcasts, industry events. Never stop learning and challenging yourself.
Couldn't agree more. On that note, a huge thank you to Lisa Shepard for sharing her wisdom and insights with us, and to you, our amazing listeners, for joining us on this B2B adventure. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of business and marketing.